What's going on, Game Leapers? This is Coach Eggs. In today's video, 20 champions, 20 broken champions who you guys should probably be picking up for the rest of 13-13 and 13-14. Now, in yesterday's video, we talked about the most broken builds for this patch and potentially next patch. Some of these champions are going to be mentioned in this video as well. Now, if you guys actually think there might be a really broken champion out there who we don't actually mention in today's video, let us know in the comment section. Who is the champion? Why you think they're OP or they're going to be really OP? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And if you put something smart, I'll give you a pat on the back. Anyway, guys, like if you actually want the biggest pat on the back, please check out the website below at GameLeap.com. Well, you don't have to, of course, but yeah, if you want to stay hardstyle, don't. But if you do want to improve, our challenger players and coaches from across the world are uploading so many videos. They're going to be daily as well, and there'll be champion courses and guides to help you in terms of the micro department, but also role-based stuff, right? Like fundamentals. If you're an AD carry, you have to understand how like spacing and positioning works. That goes for any role in the game, obviously. If you're a top laner, obviously wave management might be important, and when to, you know, like base and time your TPs and stuff. Same for mid lane. So if you want all of those important techniques, make sure you click on one of those links and get signed up to get exclusive access to our library of content. And without further ado, let's get into the top 20 champions, guys, for this patch and next patch as well. First off, we have Akshan coming in at number 20. This dude who's banned in close to 10% of games and in close to 5,000 matches in Master and above so far in 13-13, Akshan is an S+ tier champion. All of these are. But yeah, Akshan with a 51.27% win rate, picked in around 4% of games, it isn't too bad. This dude, if you're maxing your Q right and looking just to like shove in the enemy mid laner and just get permo prio for you and your jungler to roam around the map, it's a really broken playstyle. Even in lower elos as well, Akshan does well because he's actually like a lot more simple to play than people think. All you have to really do is just like trade around your passive and maybe like shield bash if you're going this, and man, like you're going to be chilling in laning phase. And because you're roaming potential, you're also 1v1 potential, he's a great champion to pick. Just be a little bit careful of how you use your heroic swing. Coming in number 19, this is Darius. So going to the top lane here, and Darius once again is going to be here because of just how good this champion is, innately speaking. If you're going Trinity Force, if you're going something even like Stride Breaker into range matchups, Darius is still performing at a higher level. Also, next patch with Ghost lasting 15 seconds, I think it's good for Darius because laning phase is where you really shine, right? Or in the 1v1. Team fighting, I know you get an ult reset, but in the 1v1 Darius, that's where he's at his best. So getting an extra 5 seconds on your Ghost, especially early on, allows you to chase down people for longer and also just to kite out people for longer too. I think this is going to be a really nice change for him, and according to the statistics, he's number 19. Now heading all the way down to the bot lane here, number 18 on the countdown is a champion with one of the highest win rates. This is Rakan with close to a 52% win rate in Master and above. And look at the pick rate for me, man. He's picked in close to 20,000 games. And that's already like after a week of gameplay, right, in the highest elos. This champion can do everything really. He can engage, he can peel, you can blind pick him. Probably one of the few supports you can, you know, like happily blind pick and not get completely countered and dumpstered. But yeah, Rakan is number 18. Moving into number 17, guys, and into the mid lane here, this is Katarina. Because of the buff to Nash's Tooth, this has made Nash's Tooth into Rocket Belt Katarina good again. Also, with mages being around, Katarina does really well into the right because Lost Shatter has been buffed. Katarina, you know, cucks a lot of mages because of her mobility, and lots of players as well. If they don't know how to use their cooldowns, you can exploit them very quickly here. So Katarina is also in this list. Now moving down to the bot lane again, number 16 on the countdown, this is a Trinity Force abuser, this being Ezreal. Look at the pick rate for me, 23.7% in higher elos. That's close to 30,000 matches, dear God. And this means that for Ezreal with a 50.5% win rate, he's an S+ tier champion. With Trinity Force as well, just like I said, guys, if you're going Trinity Force into Mirror Mana, it's a really nice combination. And until they actually put some sort of like range cap on Trinity Force, Ezreal is probably going to be here for a long time coming. Now moving into the top 15, starting us off, we have one of the best supports in the game, this being Blitzcrank. Now I will say this, be a little bit careful picking Blitzcrank into stuff that wouldn't mind getting hooked. So stuff like Rel, stuff like Alistar, right, even Braum, Taric. These champions are absolutely fine being close to you because, well, that's what they want. As Blitzcrank, you really want to be picking this guy because you see two immobile champions on the enemy team who are squishy. So maybe something like a Janna, right, or a Lulu or a Yuumi, something like this, right? That's great to pick Blitzcrank. So I think he serves much better as a counter pick. You can blind pick him. Like if you know the enemy AD carry already is something like a Jhin or something you can just hook here and they don't have a dash for you, no worries. But yeah, Blitzcrank is number 15, still banned a lot even in higher elos. That's just how deadly this guy is still. Now number 14 on the countdown, this is Kai'Sa. So with over a 35% pick rate in over 44,000 matches, Kai'Sa has a 50.5% win rate, S+ tier champion. This build, most Kai'Sa players are now going with Static Shiv into something like, you know, Nash's Tooth. It gives you not only 2 upgrades in terms of your W and your E from the attack speed and the 100 200 AP from Nash's, but also with Hail of Blades, you proc your passive and trigger it so quickly, bro. And also, if you think of the engaged meta in the bot lane with all the supports at the moment, like Rel, and you've got Thresh, and you got Braum, and you got Nautilus, then you have Pyke and all them. So Kai'Sa is really enjoying the bot lane at the moment. Again, a bit like Blitzcrank, though, I'd be a little bit careful about blind picking up because she has some really hard matchups. So whether it's like Karthus for close range, because he just destroys anyone who gets close to him. Same with Draven as well. You can't really touch him without losing half your HP bar. So be careful about that. Now moving back to the mid lane here, we have Zed. Now Zed in most elos at the moment isn't doing particularly well, but the reason he's doing so well in high elo is not only has he played at his max capacity, but also because of Duskblade, which is kind of like rippling through the AD assassin kind of, category, I guess. Because if you're playing Zed, if you're playing something like Kha'Zix or Talon or Qiyana in the jungle, mid lane, wherever you're playing these champions, like they're just so much better off now because of Duskblade. It really is at the moment like League of OP items. So if you're going like Trinity Force, if you're a ranged champion, if you're going Duskblade, if you're an assassin, that's really dictating the meta. And Zed is just one of those champions. And I'd highly recommend as well, guys, still maxing your W second, but Duskblade Zed is number 13. Now number 12, speaking of Duskblade champions, this is actually Rengar in the top lane though. So you can go Duskblade top lane, but I'd only recommend doing that if you're against someone who's really squishy and you're already snowballing out of control. For the most part, you can go something like Divine Sunderer with Fleet Footwork, and if you look at Rengar, like he's not going to be banned 43.2% of the time for his top lane performances. It's really going to be in the jungle, right, where people just don't want to play against him. But still in the top lane, he's always been like an S+ tier champion, or has been ever since they changed items, guys, in 13-10. I think he's such an innately broken champion. Just be careful of playing into champions like, maybe a Shen, who can block a lot of your stuff with his W and then taunt you. Be careful about Darius, because if you jump into a Darius, I think only bad things are going to happen, especially with the new Ghost. So be careful about that. But Rengar, super broken champion, doesn't even matter where you play him. Now number 11, this is honestly one of the most annoying champs in the game at the moment, I think, because if you're a bot laner, like you're playing AD carry or support, and you're against a Karthus, bro, like it just doesn't feel real, yeah? This champion isn't really counted by that much as well. Like unless you're picking something like maybe a Ziggs with range, or, Lethality Varus or Caitlyn, but Caitlyn's not good at the moment. He's really just going to be frothing life. Notice what I said for Kai'Sa as well, right? It's an engaged meta in the bot lane, and with Lost Chapter costing only 1100 gold now, that accelerates your scaling and your progression in a game. Karthus is super OP. So if you need some AP, guys, and honestly just free wins, I would pick Karthus. I actually think he's the most obnoxious champion to pick right now, and he probably will be as well for 13-14, unless they do something about it. Now moving into the top 10, we've already mentioned this champion, this of course being Rengar, but this time in his actual natural habitat, this being in the jungle. With over a 5.5% pick rate in close to 7,000 matches, a 52% win rate, Duskblade Rengar is still killing it in the jungle, and will, guys, next patch as well. Now we mentioned the number 9 champion in yesterday's video, the builds video, this being Ashe, right? And why is Ashe here? Think about it with Trinity Force. Now the buffs to Ashe recently as well, especially the damage in her W going up, this has really helped her, right? And I honestly think Ashe is probably the best like all-around AD carry. So if you're picking her as like a blind pick, you can counter pick like so many AD carries as well with this champion, and also Ghost lasting 15 seconds next patch, which will help you out during the early game. I think this is really nice for Ashe. I think her win rates won't really change. In fact, I think they'll probably increase next patch, unless of course again they nerf Trinity Force like they probably should. Now coming in at number 8, this is one of the most dominant mid laners in the game, and honestly I think everyone should have her at the moment in their champion pool, this being Neeko. So Neeko with Rocket Belt, because of all the buffs and, well, I guess changes to Neeko in Season 13, man, she's still one of the premier picks, because of the actual ult damage as well, being like based off 120% of your AP, it's cracked. Even though they may have nerfed like your Q from last patch, doesn't really matter, man. Like even if it's scaling down from 9 to 7, hit level 9 and it's going to be the same, right? It's not going to feel any different. You're still holding on to all the damage as well. So Neeko number 8, close to a 52% win rate in higher elos. Now number 7 on the countdown, 51.5% win rate, this being Fiora. And bro, like I don't want to talk that much about Fiora, man. Like I've talked about her so much for like 3 seasons in a row. I swear she's in like every top champions video. This just happens to be another one. She's banned in close to 20% of games, and Fiora remains like, if there are any out there, like aren't you bored of this champion just getting banned in most of your games, man? Like I just want to play Fiora without her being, picked and banned. But the stats don't lie, she's got to be here, the Grand Duelist. Now number 6 on the countdown, a Stride Breaker abuser with the highest win rate out of all these champions. This is Rek'Sai in the jungle. So for Rek'Sai, even though she got banned last patch, which is kind of like the crazy thing, she actually has the highest win rate in the game, well in higher elos anyway, with over a 54.5%. And even though, yes, like her attack damage got nerfed, her HP got nerfed early game, bro, just get to Stride Breaker, man. Also the buffs in 13-11, these just amplify her damage and I guess like her, well, just identity as someone who spam ganks you and kills you. And we're close to a 9% pick rate and over a 32% ban rate. Man, I'm actually surprised she's number 6 and not a lot higher. But But number 5, starting off the top 5. We're moving back to the top lane here. I mentioned Fiora. Well, I've also got to mention Jax, man. These two, like I just mentioned them in every single video. It's so annoying to me. I wish they did something to these two champions or buffed every single other top laner so I didn't have to talk about Fiora and Jax every, like, you know, other day. But Jax has got to be here. 25% ban rate, almost an 11% pick rate, and he has over a 51% win rate still. Just get me out. If you're going Divine Sunderer with Grasp, if you're going Trinity Force, right, because you're snowballing and the enemy top lane is pretty squishy, no worries as well. Like, you can actually abuse Trinity Force a lot more than a lot of other bruisers and fighters because attack speed you really appreciate, especially once you start getting this up with your passive. So Jax is number 5, the hockey stick. Now number 4, just like Rek'Sai, this champion got nerfed in last patch, but she's actually really broken still, this being Kindred. So even though your attack damage went down, your HP went down, Kindred still has over a 53.5% win rate, and that's with being picked in over 10% of games and banned in over 41% of games. That is actual cooked. So Kindred players, there's just one thing to do. Keep abusing Trinity Force. No worries. Now moving into the top 3, the best mid laner guys in higher elos anyway, but also in lower elos if you can really play her, and again, we can teach you how to do just that on our website at GameLeap.com. This being LeBlanc. With Static Shiv, with Sorcerer Shoes and the Night Harvester, pair this with Fleet Footwork, Presence of Mind, and Alacrity, so you have not only, like, you know, the movement speed and utility, I guess, and the heal from Fleet Footwork, but you also have the mana from Presence of Mind, and you have the attack speed to wave clear really efficiently, and to also pressure the enemy champion, because not only are you pressuring them with auto attacks now through Static Shift, but also your distortion, your W, will have this off cooldown pretty much all the time. So you're not using this like you may have had to in the past to clear waves or to do anything else, yeah? Like, you're using this purely for damage, and of course you're maxing this first into pretty much every single matchup, unless maybe you're against like a Vex or a Lissandra when you can never really W in. So yeah, LeBlanc is number 3. Now number 2, guys, on the countdown, both of these top 2 champions reside in the bot lane, but number 2 is the AD carry of the patch and next patch as well, this being Trinity Force Draven. So in over 10,500 matches, for Draven to have over a 51% win rate, it's super impressive. He's also banned in close to 37% of games, and lots of these champions, guys, are banned so much because they're so OP, and lots of people just don't want to have to deal with their OPness. So yeah, Draven being number 2, the stats just back this up, and Trinity Force is just breaking the game, especially in the bot lane as well with Draven. You know, you've got Ashe, Ezreal, every AD carry I mentioned in this video, kind of just dominating. Now, number 1, the best champion, guys, in the game, according to the statistics. Well, this is in higher elos, but even in lower elos, because they haven't actually changed that much to this champion, even though they changed their last patch, Rell is still performing at the highest level. All the CC that was in your kit is still in your kit, despite the changes they actually gave to her. Everything else got changed. Your CC, though, is still there, which is great for you, right? That's why she still has over a 54.4% win rate. That's in over 16,000 matches. She's banned in over a fifth of the games as well. That's when you know a champion is super busted. So those guys were the 20 most broken champions for this current patch 13.13, and honestly probably for 13.14 as well. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, please remember to leave a like down below, and I'll see you on our next season 13 upload. This has been Coach Cheeks. Peace.